welcome back. We're here at the Chill Experience podcast. I'm here with my wife, Jill, going on 10 years on Halloween. Looking forward to that very much.
Me too.
And then it causes her to laugh and giggle, like every time I say Halloween. And why do we pick Halloween?
So Chad could remember the day.
So we'll share with you how this happened. So I wanted to be able to remember the day, and we have to go to the Cook County Courthouse.
Right.
And while we're there and we're in line to be able to get our marriage certificate, I think it was on a Friday. We're spending the time there. I look up, and over the clerk's head, there's a sign that says
marriage certificates and death certificates.
And there was a time in my life when there was someone that was very close to me, and we'll just leave it at that. I had found out a year or two earlier that she had passed away, and I had always told Jill that I thought she passed away from a what?
Broken heart.
And so I asked Jill, as she gave me permission, to pull the death certificate.
I don't even think you asked. I think we were standing there, we looked up, and I looked at you, and you looked at me, and I said, I know what you want to do. I know what you want to get. And you said you do. And I said, go ahead, get the death certificate. What do I care?
And to my dismay, I'm very sorry that she had passed away, but it said natural causes. It didn't say broken heart.
Oh, okay.
So another strike against my ego.
Okay.
But it's sad, right? Because someone passed away at an early age.
Yes.
Which leads us into a day of, what is the day where we went to a funeral this morning, which is hence the black on black.
Right. I think it's a day of
funeral.
reflection. I think it's a day of, believe it or not, celebration of someone's life who has truly made a difference in the world. So today, and we typically don't talk about people or say names, but today we went to the funeral for Sam Harris, who's someone I met through the Northbrook Rotary. And I believe you met him through Northbrook Rotary.
Met him through the Northbrook Rotary, and you will share the story about him. And what was amazing to me is my dad had a friendship with this man when they were children.
Yes.
Along with the rest of the world.
So Sam was a Holocaust survivor. He was a very young child, 7.5 years old, when I believe he finally was released from the camps and rescued by the Russian army. And he made his journey as an orphan because he lost his parents, most of his family. He just had his sisters, and made the journey from Poland, I believe is the camp he was in, to New York, and then finally to Chicago, where he was adopted by the Harris family, and he became Sam Harris. What's so incredible about Sam is for the atrocities that he suffered that none of us could ever imagine. And, it makes me sidetrack a little bit to people who have had probably not a fabulous childhood, but I'm baffled, I guess is the word, when I think about people who complain or wallow in a self-pity, who really grew up so privileged and so blessed and had pretty much the best the world could offer, comparing to a gentleman, and he truly was a gentleman. Again, the atrocities of Holocaust, lucky to have survived. So I think about someone like him who went through life half full, actually almost completely full, always smiling, always happy. He actually, right after I met him, he gave me his book, Sammy, Child Survivor of the Holocaust. He signed it to me, dedicated. And I never saw him without a smile on his face. In fact, all the eulogies today were pretty much always happy, always smiling. Everybody thought he was their best. He was my best friend. In fact, our governor, J.B. Pritzker, spoke so eloquently, so amazing, because it was actually Sam and J.B. who were the catalyst behind the United States Holocaust Museum that is now in Skokie. And it came to fruition because of Sam, his vision, and JB believing in it, and then I'm sure a whole group of people behind them that made it happen. So
Right.
we're lucky to have that. We're lucky to have it right here in our backyard, because no one should ever forget. It should never happen to anybody, and I appreciate him for doing that. I appreciate his family. I love how they spoke about him today. His daughter, son-in-law, who said he was more like a dad than a father-in-law. His lovely wife. It was a beautiful tribute to a beautiful human being.
And he would meet people, and his mantra was that I like everybody when I meet them.
Right, which is like you.
Yeah. I mean, I like everybody that I meet. And I was going to joke until I don't. But the crazy thing is I pretty much just like everybody. And I'm interested in everyone. But what I really loved was it was about almost a 2 hour, and they all did speak eloquently, but he had a way about him that was the anomaly to an inspiring life for not him, but inspiring to be able to help other people live their inspiring life.
Right.
So he was servant mentality, which goes along with Ron Bernardi, who's over at Sunset Foods, who has a business card that says servant
Right.
on it.
Another
And
person who we just think the world of, right?
we do, because it's always about how are you doing, what are you doing, how can I help you, who do you need to meet, what do I need to buy, whatever I could do
How
for
can I
you.
serve and support?
And so that's the path we're going down. There must have been 300 or 400 people there today. It was wall to wall
definitely
people.
a full house, and honestly, just a beautiful tribute to a beautiful human being who, by the grace of God, survived living hell. So I had the privilege of actually touring the Holocaust Museum for the first time with Sam as our docent. And when we got to the portion where there is a railroad car, cattle car, that's where he explained that as a young child, the adults in that car lifted him up like a Torah and passed him along in that car, because he was just a 7.5-year-old boy. He was a little kid.
Mhm.
And they were so thrilled to see a child. And that was his memory. And from any class, any schooling, any story, nothing compared to learning about the Holocaust than being with someone who literally lived through it and
Right.
lived to tell about it. So may he rest in peace.
Yeah.
And condolences to his beautiful family. I love, again, how they spoke about him.
And so it was a beautiful family, and they all got up and they did speak, and it was about 10 of them or so that were able to. And the governor came out, because he was a huge influence on the governor's life for the last 30 years. And then as we're sitting there, your cousin walked up to you, who used to work with the Holocaust Museum,
Right.
who you have a relationship with. And what was interesting is today was the day of second cousins.
Right. So my second cousin, who, like you said, worked at the museum for a while, second cousin to me. And then as we left, we were heading, you said, oh, we have a lunch. And who are we going to meet? A second cousin to you. So
Yeah.
yes, today was the day of second cousins. And I really enjoyed reconnecting with your cousin, Rob, who's just a great guy and has great memories of childhood with you and your siblings.
And so the
So-
question is, why, like some people have family, some people get together with their family, but we all have extended family, we all have deeper family, we all have second cousins, third cousins, we all have this. And there's a connection by blood. I want to kind of understand why maybe we don't spend more time with these cousins, because when I got back to the office, Rob sent me a really nice email that said, we're cousins, why don't we spend more time together? Let's not wait 3 or 4 years. And I said, absolutely not.
Correct.
Because every time we're with them, we enjoy it.
Right.
But then we do let time go by as if we're supposed to.
You know, look, life in general is busy, right? And people have plans, and we try to plan a day to, hey, let's get together with you guys, what day works? And, life gets in the way, even though it's very cliche, life gets in the way. So if you really make an effort and want to see somebody, you say, okay, well, let's put it on the calendar now. And even if it's a month down the road, it really doesn't matter, because we know people are busy. The world is now spread out, so it's not as easy to go with somebody that's down the street. So the fact that he wrote that to you now the opportunity, or the onus maybe, is on us to say, okay, here's a day that works for us. Let's plan a dinner.
Right.
Right?
And so one of the things that I do is I have an entrepreneurial group of about 20 people that come to a dinner I do every couple of months. And at the group, we're asking each other, what can we do to remove roadblocks? And or what is it that you want to accomplish that you haven't done?
Mm.
And what I find is that everybody has something. So as an example, they want to write a book. They want to become a speaker. They want to do more podcasting. They want to be better athletes. They want to find a personal trainer. They need a better doctor.
Mm.
Those are about 6 things that I rattled off. And the question is, how can we best help other people get where they want to go to have a life of abundance and success? And it's through connections, and it's through the ability to listen to people who have talked for years about what they want to do. So maybe put in the comment what it is that you want to do and what we could do to help make an introduction for you. But I was able to help each one of them, whether it's with a concierge doctor, whether it's with an author, whether it's with how to get out there and be able to podcast more. Because as an example, I do podcasting where I actually have guests on one of my podcasts, and every week or so I'm interviewing 1 or 2 people to put on there, and which then branches and circles and ends up becoming bigger and better and faster for whoever participates. When it comes to writing a book, I have 3 different authors I work with to help us put the finishing touches on a book. But what I found is that there's a lot of people out there that are stuck talking about what they want to do, but they overthink it and they never do it, and they just talk. And one of the things I'm most proud of is if there's anything that crosses my mind that I think that I want to do, I do it, and then I decide if it was worth it or not, because then you could always stop,
Right.
or back up, or change the direction upon which you're going. But right now I have 3 or 4 things that I'm doing consistently on repeat that are working to give me a healthy, happy life on purpose, and to be able to take the time today and to be able to go to the funeral for Sam, this kind gentleman, and to be able to then have lunch and to be able to reflect and build is just, I think it's just very powerful. And as we sit here, because this isn't easy, believe it or not, what we're doing is not easy. It is actually because we're building the podcasting brain, the mind, to be able to come up with things to talk about and share that help people that are coming to our lives and say, you know what, we would like help, we would like guidance, and we would like more. And I'm all about helping people find more.
Well, that I know about you.
Yeah.
But I think that, again, is a common thread that we share. So, you know, just to go back to lunch today, Rob made a comment about being a good listener, right? People are helped through listening. There's so many people that have a story, that have a thing that they want to share, and they just feel like they don't have anyone to share it with. So to be a safe space for people to share and to let out whatever, you know, it could be good. A lot of times, though, it is like an agony of pain that they hold on to, and they just don't feel either like the person they want to share it with will hear them. So I appreciate being a listener for people that want to share whatever it is they want to share. Again, good, bad, ugly, pretty.
Right.
Be a person who does that, because again, like an ongoing theme at the funeral was be a good person. Like Sam, you know, it will get better. It will get better. So again, for someone to endure what he did, and it will get better. And hence we have a Holocaust Museum, which is just fabulous, fascinating. That is a mentality that I wish more people could embrace, and maybe not hold on to things that no longer serve you. So we deal with that, where we have people that try to bring in a negative energy into our world, which we will not accept.
Right.
Because they want to live in a negative space,
Right.
which is baffling to me, because I think it's easier to live in a positive space.
But the universe is pressing negative, and I shared that with you maybe in one of the earlier podcasts.
Right.
That, believe it or not, we're dealing with mental health, and we're dealing with people that don't want to be on this earth, and we're dealing with people that don't know how to find happiness. They don't have the experiences, and they don't have the right mindset to be able to overcome. So I believe, different than you, that more people than not are in a place of negativity and being pressed to depression than to be uplifted and to be happy.
Well, I agree with that.
And if you agree with that, that's why we're seeing this. So at the dinner I was at the other night, we went around the table and said, if we could 10x something, personal, professional, financial, experiences, family, whatever it is that you would choose. One of the more interesting ones was the gentleman who's a surgeon talked about the fact that he loves to read and learn every day, listen to YouTubes and podcasts to be able to learn, because in his retirement years, he doesn't feel like he's just a constant learner.
Which is great.
And then he adapts some of the things he learns into his life. There's other people that went around, and for the most part, everyone there is a successful person going through life on purpose. But more often than not, people were dealing with mental health struggles.
Be it their own or someone close to them.
Exactly. And
Right.
the reason we have that is because I think the universe has pressing down energy that causes people to realize that life is hard. And by the way, in the book I wrote, The Auctioneer's Apprentice, we talk about the fact that if you do things that are hard and you really dig in and do them now, then life is easier. And Jill, we talk about the fact that when I went to school, right, up until third grade, I didn't learn anything. No, 3 kids, a teacher, cattle prod, no desks, padded walls. Put your arms around that for a minute. So my first class of learning was 4th grade. I learned my writing and I learned my math starting in 4th grade. So you have to dig in and push and overcome to be able to find the successes that show up. So I did that early on so that today I could be successful and live a well-balanced life, I believe, of work, play, and family.
Right.
But I worked hard. I
Well,
know
that.
I mean, I worked hard and I was scrappy in finding ways to succeed.
But you didn't give up. And you also, as I always say, you are a glass not just half full, but almost
No, I think my
totally
glass is full.
I do too.
I think even on a bad day, it's a bad day, but it's beshirt, according to Sam,
Right.
where he said anything that is bad is meant to be.
Right.
And the example was they were going to find a location for the Holocaust Museum, and it turned out
Fell
that even
through.
though JB could probably buy it and throw money at it, they didn't.
Right.
And they found what they considered to be a much better location.
Right. The perfect spot.
So I'm going along with anything that's negative is beshirt. My glass is full. I keep it full. I like it full, even when things appear on the outside that maybe they're not looking as bright as they could be.
Well, you know, I remember someone that used to be in my circle would allude to, I don't know if it was a fact or opinion, that darkness or the negative energy, darkness is just so much easier to be in.
Yes.
So a lot of people want to go to darkness and negative energy and bad and poor me and pity me.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, why isn't it just as easy to stay in positive? We know things are going to happen. Every day isn't going to be perfect. We're going to have good days. We're going to have some days that aren't as good. But why is it that we think the darkness, you know, the devil, I think is what the comment was, is coming. But why can't it be the angels? Why can't it be the positive? Why can't it be the bright light and the good? Why is it like the negative is so much stronger than the positive? And I think it's like a need for drama. It's a need for, you know, pot stirring, right?
Yeah.
Which we don't do.
No, we're
And
not
we-
pot stirrers. And
no.
if we're stirring the pot, please let us know. We like to acknowledge the pot stirring. But no, and the thing is, you like horror movies, you like scary movies. People like to be in the dark, and I don't. I cover my face,
Yes, I know.
and I don't like blood. I mean, I'm not even necessarily into comedies. I like action, but I think there's a lot of people out there, if you watch Netflix or some other channels, that it is a dark world, and that people just happen to like dark humor, a dark life, and maybe drugs have something to do with it. Now that marijuana is legal and some other things are legal in Illinois, maybe it's a drug-induced world. You know, there was just a short time ago, some people are, Tiger Woods flipping a car over,
Twice.
multiple, 2, 3 times
Twice.
going down. I've never flipped a car. I haven't been in an accident, poo-poo, for a lot of years. Jen, that was out to you. But the bottom line is that people, no matter who they are, how much money they have, how much fame they have, it's dark, and they need painkillers or they need something to be able to come out on the other side and feel full.
Well, I don't believe in the need for stuff to come out of the dark. I mean, you know my thoughts on that. I
Well,
believe
share
in,
with them your thoughts
well,
on that.
I was going to share. I
Oh,
believe
well,
in you do
please share.
yoga, you do Pilates, you take a walk, you look out and see the sunshine. Those are the natural things that bring health and happiness to your soul and to your mind. And it's not drugs and alcohol and
No.
things. Not to say that we never have a drink, right?
No, we do, actually.
We do. But we don't drink to dull a pain or to numb a feeling.
No, we don't.
And people that are doing that, I feel sorry for them.
And we'd like to say that we're
Unfortunate.
here for you because it is unfortunate. But again, let's build, let's strengthen, and let's talk about success.
Yes.
So, what is your definition of success?
My definition of success? Well, considering this is the anniversary month of my retirement, so I'm going to call that a success. I worked successfully, had a pretty difficult career for 28 years, so I count that as a success. I count my children as a success. I count our life as a success. What else? I think success it's relative to what works for you, what makes you happy, what fills you up. I don't think success equates necessarily to monetary value, although yes, money makes life easier, and struggling financially makes people not feel successful. But there's a lot more to life than the almighty dollar. There are things, we know people, right, who have wealth and are miserable. So that isn't just a cliche. It isn't something that is not true. But your success, I think, is measured by certain things in life that you accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be like a tiny thing. It could be, I learned this piece on the piano, and that
So,
made me feel successful.
Let me ask you this question. Which was a better day for you? The day you started at UPS as a youngster, or the day you retired?
The day I retired.
The day that you were at UPS, the first day you're there, you walk in the door and you're a what?
I'm a female in a man's world, and this is the true statement from the asshole HR guy that walked me over to my first part-time job with my college degree, walked me over and he said, if you can't load our trailers, you're gonna get fired. That was my welcome to the world of Big Brown. That's what he said to me. Don.
And then you showed up the next day.
And then I showed up the next day. And
the day after.
And the day after. And I thought my body was going to break because it was a lot of lifting and packages were heavy and they didn't want to help me. In fact, I heard the one woman who reminded me of Roseanne Barr, don't help the new girl. And they didn't. And they made me lift stuff all by myself because they wanted me to fail. But I didn't. And even when I had to drive the truck for a season, my best manager, my best boss ever, Aaron, who I heard from on my birthday, and we're going to get together with him and his lovely wife, Angie, he said to me, they want to break you, and you're too strong for that, and you're not going to let that happen. I said, I'm going to break. I gotta quit. I gotta give up. He's like, you are not quitting. You are not giving up. And Aaron has like an unbelievable story himself. Lost both of his parents in a car accident. He and his brothers were supposed to be like the next Jackson 5. He's an amazing human being. I will forever have gratitude for him. And the support and like the wherewithal to like stay with it. You're not quitting, because they really did. They wanted to be like, she can't do it, so she'll quit. And you know what? I got promoted faster than most people do. So my boss, the district manager, said to me, I remember when he promoted me to a manager, and that was 7 years at the company, almost unheard of. He said, if anybody asks why you were promoted, he said, you have them come see me. Because, you know, there would be rumors. Who did she sleep with? Who did she blah, blah, blah with? Who did she pay off? They literally at one point said my dad was the judge who overheard all the UPS cases. Like, how cuckoo is that? So no, that's not why I got promoted. I got promoted because I dug in, I cared about the company, I drove that damn truck, and I had a college degree. So those were the things that were on my side.
And so when you were there, as I remember, you were managing 100 drivers who would show up every morning, and you would have a 10, 15, or 20-minute morning rah-rah.
3 minutes. 3 minutes. It was called PCM, Pre-Work Communication Meeting.
3 minutes.
3 minutes. I had to give them a message, had to tell them to work safe, and I had to talk about some shit that they probably didn't even listen to, because they would be out the door, and some days they'd crash or get hurt like the minute they're out the door. And somehow that was my responsibility for adult males and females, my responsibility if they crash, if they burn,
And
if they get hurt.
many of them retired at 55 or 57 or so, and then they would pass away at 60. And
Yeah.
part of my reflection of this is all the people you worked with who passed away way too young, but put in 10-hour, 12-hour days helping make sure you got your packages.
Right.
So, you know, they were all good human beings who worked hard.
Most.
But the world is hard, and people work hard. And the thing is, we have a lot of people today where they work remote, they go down in their pajamas and do their work. I'd like to think that we could get back, when I asked about success and what that means, is that we show up on purpose, and we put on our big boy pants, and we remove roadblocks to be able to help other people and watch the success of not just us, but of others.
Right.
And that everyone is likable, everyone could be in your life, everyone could be a support system. And I think if you do more of that, then your life will be enhanced because you helped other people's lives.
And the world's a better place.
And the world's a better place. So on that note, we're going to peace out. We're going to see you again next week. Thank you. The Chill Experience. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.
Chill out.